Hey everybody, you guys know me. My name is Portia Marsh. I'm a registered massage therapist, certified personal trainer, and I do health and wellness coaching. And I'm always in for finding new ways to help my clients out. And today I have Danielle and David. They are both down in the States and they're here to share some exciting information with you. So Danielle, I'd like you to introduce yourself, give a brief little history, or not a brief history, but a brief intro. And then David, follow up.
Awesome. Well, thanks, Portia, for having us on. And yeah, I live down in the US. I'm in Florida. My degree's in biology. I went to the University of Virginia. I've always been fascinated with how the body works. And interestingly, though, in my 20s, my life took a turn. I was hit by a drunk driver and lost my health. And I found myself on a very different path, seeking ways to get myself better. And I came across this discovery that we're going to be talking about today. And after that, and after what I saw it do for me, I couldn't help but share it with others. And so now I have been educating people around the world for the last 6 years on this.
Thank you, Danielle. And David.
So thanks for having me on, Portia. And I'm glad that you're doing this because we need help getting the word out that this advancement has happened. I mean, this is a massive breakthrough in health. And it's not a pharmaceutical, it's not a nutritional, it's something different. We'll talk about that. But my background is foot and ankle surgery. I live in Maryland half the year, and I live in Florida half the year. I've sold my practice. I was board certified in foot surgery and foot orthopedics and primary podiatric medicine. I own my own office and my own surgery center, and loved what I did, but I felt like I was born to do more. And so I was introduced to this. My story is 11 years ago, a friend brought this technology to me, this amazing product. I was 50 then, I'm 61 now, though I feel like I'm in my 20s because of this product. But even at 50, I didn't look at it for me when my friend brought it to me. She said, David, I love you. This is really important. She said, I pray to God that you listen to me. And I was healthy, but my dad wasn't. My dad had a pretty grave issue that no one wants to hear they have in any part of their body, whether it's their lung or their prostate or their whatever. So I looked into it for him, saw some things happen with, he's fine today, but I couldn't attribute it to the product because I had him doing other natural things. I've been in the wellness world for a while. But I kept referring people to Debbie, and they kept coming back saying, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. And then I kept thinking maybe it's a placebo because this whole thing sounds too good to be true. Breakthroughs usually do. But then a friend of mine with joint problems called me in a month. He said he was a doctor, actually, also. He said, this placebo phenomenon's amazing. I'm golfing, I'm not hurting anymore. And I said, if you have bone rubbing on bone, a placebo is only going to last so long. So why don't you call me in a month or two and tell me how you're doing? And he called me a week later and he said, David, it's not a placebo. And I said, well, it still could be. He said, no, something else happened. It can't be. I said, what? He had skin tags in his armpits for decades. And just by drinking it, he was feeling better with his joints. But then these things fell off. And that's when I knew no placebo, and it made sense as to how this product works and why it did that for him. And then that's when I looked at bringing this to the market, to helping this company bring this product to the market, who turned down a huge offer from a pharmaceutical company because they were going to bury it. It was very obvious. This is a very unique and powerful product. So it became a word of mouth opportunity, like you're sharing it. I was sharing it. I was referring people to Debbie over and over again. And I said, well, hey, I want to get in the game. I mean, this is the beginning of something huge that didn't get squashed by a pharmaceutical company. So I flew out to meet the founders of the company and the scientists to see the FDA registered production facility, all of it. It's an international company now. And I decided to get involved with it. So now I'm on the medical board of the company. It's a volunteer position. I don't work for the company. I'm an entrepreneur. And just a purpose-driven entrepreneur. I just share this with people, and they share it with people, and they share it with people. And this ripple effect kind of goes around the world. And Danielle got caught up in the ripple, thank God, after her car accident and her brain injury. You got caught up in the ripple. And I didn't start the ripple, and Debbie didn't start it, but there were people about the Burtis and Tyler Norton who said no to the pharmaceutical company. They started the ripple. So I'm glad to be here and help in any way I can.
Thank you, Dr. Silverman and Danielle. Excellent intros. David, I want to bring it back and circle it back for the people that will be listening to this. How would you explain it, what it is and how it works?
So briefly, and I'll give you some references to go to get you more information, because I know we have limited time here, but it's very unique. And this company, ASEA, it's a cellular health company. All the products are focused around keeping the cell healthy, because if our cells are healthy, then we're healthy, right? I mean, Western medicine is if I'm thirsty all the time and urinating all the time, and I go to the doctor and they say, oh, your blood sugar, Dr. Silverman, is 500. You need metformin, you need insulin, you need this. They're not addressing the problem. The problem is my pancreas is not producing enough insulin, or my cells are resistant to insulin. So it's always cells. If I can't see, it's retina cells. If I can't breathe, it's lung cells. And so what's unique about this product, and I'm going to focus on these two, we call it the blue and the white, ASEA Redox and the Renew 28 gel. It's the same thing. This wasn't around when I started in 2011. It came out in 14. But what's in this bottle, what makes it unique, is it's not a pharmaceutical. We don't have Lipitor in us. We don't have Prozac in us, but we have this in us. We all have it. It's called Redox signaling molecules. And the thing is, we produce a lot more when we're younger. They're produced in our mitochondria. And you notice that children have more energy than adults, but children also heal from injuries much faster than adults. A 10-year-old falling off her bicycle will heal faster than she does at 20 from the same injury. Same injury, right? She falls off her bicycle at 50, same injury, heals slower. Falls off her bicycle at 80, same injury, she probably dies. And because the body doesn't bounce back, when cells get damaged, if they're not replaced with good ones, then you have issues. This product is in us. We had more when we're younger. They found a way to make it outside the body. And what it does is it makes our cells communicate better. The more of these redox signaling molecules that we have in us, the better our cells can communicate and hear that I just fell off my bicycle and broke my femur. These are bone cells, or damage my eye cells, or my liver cells. And if the immune system can hear clearly, loud and clearly, that there are cells that are not normal anymore, damaged by trauma, or old and worn out, they need to be replaced, or mutating, as long as the immune system can hear clearly and there's enough nutrition in the body, the immune system will take care of it. But as we age, we produce less and less and less of this. So the signaling goes down. So the call for help goes down. So all this really does is, and I don't say all because they're double-blind, placebo-controlled studies showing it turns genes back on that turn off as we age, all these other things, but we're raising our levels back up to what we were. And it's as safe as water. I mean, first of all, it comes with a money-back guarantee. I always think I sound like a salesman when I say that, but it's true. There's no risk. There's a money-back guarantee for 30 days, but more importantly, it's as safe as water. When I looked at it for my father, I'm like, well, what are the risks? Right? Because when I write prescriptions, when I was practicing, I have to say, Portia, are you allergic to any medications? I could kill you with the wrong medication. Portia, are you taking other medications? I could kill you with the wrong medication. Then I have to get the right dosage so you don't overdose on it. It doesn't apply to this. It's not a drug. It's made from saline. Our cells make this from saline. These reductants and oxidants is what Redox stands for. And so you can't be allergic to it. Nobody can. I'm sitting here looking out over the Atlantic Ocean in Ocean City, Maryland, and I'm looking at this ocean of saline, right? That's what our cells are filled with. Our cells are filled with saline. That's why you get an IV, it's saline at the hospital. Tears are salty, sweat is salty. Our cells make these reductants and oxidants from saline. So you can't be allergic to it. It doesn't interfere with any kind of medication, and you can't overdose on it. You can drink as much as you want. So I know we have a short amount of time here. I'm trying to get in as much as possible. Let me give one resource and I'll flip it back to you. There's a website I put together called gettingyoungerclub.com. Getting Younger Club, because that's what this does. I mean, it makes your body younger. There's a 7-minute explanation as to what the molecules are. There's an explanation. People can look up their own issue if they want. So whatever their issue is, they come here, they put in the password Redox, Redox, lowercase, and they can look up whatever they want. They can look up if they have a blood sugar issue, and that's their issue. They can look there. If they have a child on the spectrum, if they were bitten by a tick, if they don't sleep well, memory loss, These are all videos of people sharing what happened with them. In fact, story number one is Danielle after being hit by a drunk driver. So that is most people really care about what about my problem, but people want immediate proof. There's a video right here. And I can explain that if you want. I think it's one of the most important things. People knowing that it works is important. And this is quick. And I know that many of your clients are hurting, so that'll be good. Explanations as to why it's made from salt water, why they didn't sell it to the pharmaceutical company, 5-minute tour of the FDA registered production facility. So that's a good resource for people. gettingyoungerclub.com.
Beautiful. Yeah. And especially where you're mentioning where you feel like you're in your 20s. I feel like I'd always say, oh yeah, I feel like 15, 16. It's like, nah, man, now I feel like I'm like 12, 11. No, what's going on? I want to bring it back over to Danielle real fast, because you had mentioned where we heal faster when we're younger, not so much when we're getting older. And Danielle, briefly to go into your story, and then David, I'll bring it back to you with a question.
Yeah, absolutely. So it's interesting. I was hit by a drunk driver 10 years ago. And so this car accident, it caused trauma in my brain. And I wasn't recovering. I was dealing with a lot of issues. I couldn't focus for extended periods. I had no energy. I just wanted to sleep all the time. My personality changed. I was sensitive to any sort of input. It was overwhelming to me, light, noise. And there was pounding that would not relent in my head. And doctors didn't really have solutions for me. And that was kind of the scary part, is I was told, well, just kind of sit and wait it out. Might be a month. Then they said 3 months, then they said 6 months. And then at my 1-year appointment, my neurologist literally said to me, look, with your type of injury, your body's done the healing that it's going to do. And this is just your new normal. And you should shape your life, around these symptoms. And I wonder how many people would have been told the same thing and accepted it. But something inside of me said, like, well, no way. And in my head, I went, well, you're fired, because, I'm 24 years old. He's telling me that. And I thought, this isn't a life to live. It's not what I want to live. And so we kept looking for options. And it's interesting because it was an acupuncturist that suggested the ASEA to my mom. And I wasn't even open to it. Honestly, Portia, like, my mom brought this stuff home and I looked at the back of the bottle and it said that it was, the ingredients were water and sodium chloride. And I kind of, like, having my degree in biology, I laughed it off. And I thought, okay, salt water, right? It's going to help my head. I don't think so. But thankfully, my mom started using it and she had a lot of discomfort in her back and her hands, a lot of stiffness. Within 6 weeks, she had a full range of motion back in her hands and her discomfort was going down. And so my dad, who's a big athlete, like, he works out every day. He starts using it. All of a sudden doesn't have to wear the brace on his knee because, his discomfort again is gone. And he's doing more in his workouts, like running further, rowing further. And that's when they dove into more of the research and more of like what my brain had wanted to see. And they said, Danielle, you don't understand. This company didn't make up redox signaling. This is a massive field of science. And they said, look, it cannot hurt you. Won't contraindicate with any of the meds that you're on. Why don't you give it 6 months and let's see what it does? And so that's how I entered. And I still was pretty cynical. I was like, oh, you're wasting your money. I mean, I really did not believe in this stuff, but it works. And so I started using it and I drank about 8 ounces a day. And nothing really happened initially that I noticed. The gel wasn't there, which, David, you got to share with everybody how to use the gel to get that instant, gratification. But I just had the liquid, and 3 months in, my world started to change. That pounding in my head that had been there for 2 years, it finally stopped. I had energy again. I could focus again. And I'll never forget my cognitive therapist saying to me, Danielle, what in the hell is that stuff that you started drinking? Because I've never seen something like this in all my 30 years of dealing with people with your injury. So that was my introduction to it. And it was interesting, the evolution, because I ended up getting on the phone with Dr. Silverman because my cognitive therapist literally wanted to know what it was and I could not explain it. And she said, well, my other clients could benefit from this, just like you. It's like when you learn and you see what it does, it's like, well, everyone needs to know simply that it's an option out there. And so I heard his explanation and I just went wild with like, well, what is the potential then for each and every person, because it's going to do something different for everybody. Like, everyone needs to know and go see what it's going to bring you.
Dang, that's amazing. And it's especially when you've been skeptical at the start and then it's working for you. Very powerful, very powerful. David, I'm going to bring it back to you with the question. So ASEA Redox is considered a breakthrough. Can you explain more on that?
Well, I mean, that's such a big discussion, honestly. I'll give you an analogy. So redox stands for reductant and oxidant. That's what redox stands for. And it's going to be a mainstream word very soon. When I looked at this for my father, because I love my dad and I wanted to see, this is December 2010, what it was. There were 4,000 studies at pubmed.gov. And now I think they're about 40,000, from 4 to 40. This is massive. And the analogy is this: we all kind of know what antioxidants are. A lot of people don't know exactly what they are, but they know they're good for you, right? Antioxidants are good, right? Well, antioxidants is just one little piece of redox. It's this tiny little segment. And it's so much bigger than that. Everything is redox. Everything in life is redox. Plants, animals. My dogs drink that. Our dog drinks this. People's horses, cats. In fact, there's a website dedicated just for animals. But this is massive. But bottom line is this, Portia. Now, when you have a breakthrough that comes along, and anytime in the history of mankind, it always sounds too good to be true to most people, right? They're the pioneers who develop it or discover it. Then there's the early adopters who say, hey, this is interesting. This makes sense. Let me see what happens. And then they know quickly. So now you got the pioneers knowing and the early adopters. But the masses, there's the masses and the laggards. The laggards are the people that wait forever for anything. They're still using flip phones and whatever. I mean, they're going to come along last. But the masses say, oh, come on, that sounds too good to be true. But what makes the masses believe is an experience. Once someone's experienced something, take the light bulb. Who would have believed that you could light a room without a flame, right? Thomas Edison says, hey, I invented something. Everybody laughs at him. Then he turns the switch on. They're like, how did you do that? I don't know, but this is better, right? This works. I want a light bulb. Same thing with anything, cell phones, cars, telephones. I wasn't around during the development of television, but it's like, wow, really? You can do that? So the experience, seeing it happen or feeling it is key. Drinking the liquid can take 1 day to 90 days, right? For someone to see the change. And there's a video called How to Use Redox.com, and it explains how to use it. And those expectations, about 15% of people say, wow, it's a breakthrough in a week. 60% do in a month, 90% do in 90 days. So we say 90 days on the liquid. Well, there's a 30-day money back guarantee, 30 days. But they take the gel version of it, which is the same as the drink, but it's for topical and it's for rejuvenating skin. So it's technically marketed for wrinkles. You want to look younger? Use it. But take pictures of your skin, take pictures of your wrinkles, take pictures of your cellulite if you have it, take pictures of scars, take pictures of skin issues, and change nothing else. Keep using your medicines or whatever you're doing, and you take the gel, and it's clear. There's no smell, there's no greasiness, and it's for your face. But that's not how you have your aha moment. That's not like Thomas Edison turning the light bulb on. Over time, it will be when you see the pictures. But people want instant gratification these days. And what I love about this is I can open a closed mind in 10 minutes. I don't care how closed it is, saying, I don't believe it. I read it's just salt water. It's a scam, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, well, if I could prove it to you in 10 minutes, would you be interested in that? If they say no, I walk away. I'm not paying any more mind to that person. Someone says, well, how are you going to prove it to me? So I tell you what, you get the product. There's a money back guarantee. So there's no risk. Take it while you're drinking the drink and seeing how it impacts your sleep, energy, mood, vision, hearing, breathing, weight, libido, everything. While you're doing that, take the gel the first day and find 5 or 10 people who are hurting, something that hurts them. And I know your clientele, you have people that are really, they're hurting, and to live like that is got to be really difficult. People that have really horrible agony. Every time I drink a cold drink too fast and I get one of those brain freeze headaches, as bad as it is, I sit there and I think, thank God I don't live like this all the time. This is going to go away in about 20 seconds. And I think people that live with that are taking medications, and I feel for them. But here's what you do. You find 10 people, and if you put them all in one room together, it's going to take 10 minutes and you'll know, right? But if you do it on 10 people separately, it'll be 10 times 10. It's 100 minutes. Big deal to know that this is the greatest breakthrough in history of health. What they do is these 10 people rate their discomfort level on a scale of 1 to 10. So if it's their neck, Oh, it's a 1. I'm just stiff from sitting at the computer. Okay, so you're going to put it on 3 times in 5 minutes. That's the simple, easy way to. You can do it 20 times in 20 minutes if you want, but who's going to do that? But it's easy. So I'll put it on 3 times in 5 minutes. That's even a negative person that their neck hurts. Let's say they were in a car accident and they can't move their neck. Okay, so that's a 10, right? Their shoulder doesn't move, right? Their knee, their back, with menstrual cramp. They rate their discomfort level on a scale of 1 to 10. They shake this up. They put it on 3 times in 5 minutes. Now, a skeptic or a cynic would probably be pretty amazed if 5 of the 10 people said, wow, how did it do that? I want to buy that. 5 out of 10 would be pretty amazing, especially if they were 10 negative people who said, I don't believe a word of this, but I'll try it, right? So picture really nasty, negative people, but they got to be honest. If it was 5 out of 10, people would be pretty amazed, but it's not. Watch what happens. I can't see my hands. Watch what happens to 9 out of 10. Watch what happens to 9 out of 10 people, sometimes 10 out of 10. And then a person will realize 3 things. Okay. Number 1, they'll be grateful to the person that introduced to them for the rest of their life. But number 1, they realize this is not salt water. You rub salt water on 10 people who are hurting 3 times in 5 minutes, and you're not going to see that. They're going to know it's not salt water. They're going to know it's very easy for anybody who wants to know it's real now, not a laggard, either early adopter or masses, to know that it's very easy, because if you just did it and saw that happen to 9 people, anybody can do it. I mean, it's just like it's self-evident. And the third thing is that it's just a matter of time before the whole world knows that this exists, that this light bulb has been invented. And that's why I know with your clientele, and I'm talking to people who work with children on the spectrum, I mean, they're not dealing with things that hurt. We're having a different conversation about helping this population. But for you, I know, and look, bottom line is people who are hurting, sometimes they're mentally, their mood is not good, right? And they're taking things for that. Well, this crosses the blood-brain barrier. That's why when you go to that website, gettingyoungerclub.com, and you go to that where it says, what about my issue? And you put in the password Redox, REDOX lowercase, and you watch this little tutorial video, this overview here, give context, and you come over here, you'll see memory. Oh, it just came off. Memory is one of the ones that's there. And if you look at memory has nothing to do with hurting, does it? But what happens is when you click it, watch what happens when I click memory as an example. It sorts through the 100 and some stories and it pulls up the 6 that are memory. Blood sugar. How about people that are hurting? Sleeping is difficult, right? Click sleep. These are all people sharing what happened with their sleep. So I know I went a little bit long. I tried to get as much in as I could, Portia. And I'm happy to answer any other questions if you want to go longer.
Definitely. And I could talk all day on this, and especially with your explanations for my clients. And because they do deal with a lot of pains, right? And I see a lot of people who have something acute or super chronic, and they're on all these crazy medications where, like, not to obviously not name names. And I know what I've seen with my own people just putting that on, and heavy duty drugs, now utilizing this for their pain management. And you had mentioned the 3 times in 5 minutes to apply that on. And what with your experience for the people that you've done this with, what is one of the most memorable aha moments for somebody else? How did that look for them?
For hurting or for something else?
For hurting.
Oh, it's every day. I mean, it's every day.
Too many.
It's every day. I mean, anytime I do it, I got a 90% chance that the person to say, oh my God, what just happened to me? It just happened to my electrician in the kitchen the other day. He's 38 years old, had a back fusion, 2 back fusions, and he's hurting all the time. He's like, they're going to have to do something again, maybe. And he's running around my house like, what happened to me? This is amazing. He signed up to be, not just to be a preferred customer, he signed up to be an associate. He goes, I'm going to tell people about this. How do people not know about this? So it's just a gift. It really is. And it's produced in an FDA registered production facility. There's counterfeit product on the market and it's expired product. It's always good to just get it through it. And a ASEA associate like I am, Danielle, like you are, get it through an ASEA associate. So you know you're getting, number one, guaranteed product, and it's guaranteed fresh from the FDA registered production facility.
Excellent. Thank you, David.
You bet.
And one more question for you, David, because I know you had mentioned that you got into this for your father and you did utilize it on yourself. What did you experience personally with ASEA Redox?
Well, the first 2 months, I just, there was no gel back then, so I couldn't put it on because I had had a car accident before and I had, sometimes my neck would bother me. But in about 2 months, it took me about 2 months, I just noticed like a lot of energy. And I had lost some weight. And my aha moment, like we all want to have our placebo busting experience where we know it's not a placebo. You know, maybe I'm losing weight, it's a coincidence, maybe I have more energy because I want more energy. But I had a split in a fingernail for a long time, years. And it would, when you have a split like that, a longitudinal split, it gets caught on blankets and rips and you bleed all over the place. So a young woman told me, put a little super glue on it, let it dry, and then file it down. And then, once in a while do that and you won't get caught on things. And so I was always careful clipping that nail, but at about a little over 2 months, nails and hair grow much faster and thicker, by the way. They just healthier because it cells, the matrix of the cell here and the follicles, matrix of the nail and the follicles. Some people that are shiny on their head, they have no hair, they start growing hair. It's pretty cool. But what happened for me was I was clipping my nails and I would always be careful because it was, when I got to that nail and the split grew out and I'm like, this is not a placebo. This has been there for years. And in 2 months drinking this stuff, my nail grew out. So, but besides that, just sleep great, take medication. I don't take ibuprofen ever anymore. I used to golf once a week and I take it for a couple of days. I golf pretty much every day now. I mean, the opportunity side of it started as just as a caring and sharing opportunity, but it grew into something beyond I could imagine. You tell people, they tell people, they tell people, and the company spends no money on advertising, so they pay us to do that, and you get paid on that ripple effect. But what I love about it, Portia, is someone says, "Does insurance cover this?" I'm like, no, but I can show you how to get it for free. They say, how? Just share it with a few people. The company will pay you to do that. Don't focus on making money, just focus on helping people. And that's the beautiful thing about it.
Big time. Well, thank you, Dr. Silverman, for sharing all of that. I wish I could have you on for another hour and pick your mind. But we'll wrap up this video. And so for anyone who is watching this, and if you're thinking, oh, I need to try this, and just to try it, and like David had mentioned, there is a 30-day money back guaranteed. There is absolutely no risk. But if you want to try it, and if you are in to see me, definitely let me know the next time you're in so I can connect you with Danielle, because if you're my client, you know how my schedule is. It's kind of crazy. And sometimes I don't get to that follow-up right away, but Danielle can help you with learning more of the information, and especially with what Dr. Silverman had shared. And if you don't come in to see me normally, you can send me a text at 1-506-304-2651 and say, I'm in, and I will connect you. So
I hate to tell you this. Okay.
Tell me.
But when your clients get on this product and they're on it for 90 days, they probably aren't going to come see you as much. They're not going to have to. I'm sorry. I know you want to help them, but I'm dead serious.
I know.
I've had some doctors say, well, why? I've had people say, well, like, I won't say the types of practitioners, but they say, well, why would I want to do that? They won't need me anymore. And they walk away. I'm like, man, that's not why I went into medicine, so just be prepared. You might lose some clients, but they'll tell people, and they're going to be like your fingers and your arms telling people if they're in New York or they're in Canada or they're in Paris. We're in 33 countries around the world. It's shipped to 33 countries. So you'll end up helping a lot more people through the word of mouth mechanism than you could ever do with your hands, honestly.
Big time. And I'm glad you said that, David, because, and I've said this to Danielle many times before, where I can only treat so many people in the run of a day, a week, a month, and even in the year, where I say the same clients, and I can't help others when it's still the same people in here. So if I can help someone and then help someone else and connect them, all the power, right? All the power.
Yep, absolutely.
Perfect. Well, thank you, David. Thank you, Danielle. And thank you for the listener for continuing on with us and listening to what David and Danielle had to say. And you know how to connect with me, so we can connect you to some goodness, and you can feel better and feel more like yourself. Take care, everyone.